From Grant Morrow, we have, in regards to motivation and playing hard, in one of your books, you mentioned using Competitive Cauldron. Do you still use that method? And if so, what drills do you like to include in it?
I do. Like the last 3 years, I had a whiteboard and I wrote out practice on the board every day. And so I took the whiteboard out to practice. It's actually something that I got from John Spera. He's now the UCLA head volleyball coach, and I think he's still the USA volleyball coach. But when he was at UC Irvine, I used to go to his practices, and so he'd do the same thing. And so I would write out my practice on the whiteboard, teams, everything for everything we were going to do at practice. And then after a game, I would just circle who won, and then I'd go to my office and pull up my Excel spreadsheet and put in who won on that day, and I'd keep a track for the week, and I'd keep a track on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and then for the season. So I would know, so when a player came to me and was like, hey, you don't play me. And I was like, well, yeah, because you're 12th out of 12 out of 12 players in our competitive cauldron. That means you're getting your butt kicked every single day in practice. Your winning percentage in practice, and it's hard to be much. I think the best winning percentage we've had is right about 50%, because there's more drills have more losers than winners. It's not like, evenly split. If you're playing 2-on-2, you've got 2 winners and you've got 10 losers. So 50% has been our highest, winning percentage. But, if our lowest winning percentage is at, 28%, and you're at 28%, you're not winning a lot, so why do you deserve to play? You're not earning those minutes in practice. So I still use it. In terms of my favorite drills, it's every drill that we do, more or less, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, transition drills, 5-on-5, half court, full court, it's all of the above. More or less the only thing that I don't track winners on is if we do a kind of a block shooting drill, which we usually do one at the beginning of practice. But like if we do a competitive shooting drill, track it. When we play tag, track it. We play keep away as a passing drill, track it. So we keep track of all those things. And then I keep track of kind of who wins the drill. So I know who's like, if somebody's, dominating tag and never winning 5-on-5, like I kind of want to know that too. Because 5-on-5 means a little bit more to me than whether or not they can win in tag. So I still use it. I use it at the college level. I don't, at the college level, I didn't change my starting lineup or my captains like I've done at the high school level. At the high school level, I basically, on a game-by-game basis, just took the top 5 players for that week or up to that point in the competitive cauldron and said, okay, you're my 5 starters. And whoever was number 1, that was my captain for the day. I don't do that at the college level, but, if I was at the high school level again, I would probably do the same thing. Because again, part of it is, I think when I coached at the high school level, especially when I coached girls at the high school level in Irvine, one of the reasons why we won the league is because our 10th player, on any given day, our 9th or 10th player could be our best player. And they're always engaged in practice because they knew everybody was going to play and everybody had a chance to start, based on what they were doing in practice. And so I just think the competitiveness of our practices enhanced everybody's abilities because we didn't have, a set starting lineup where these 5 are going to start, these 5 aren't going to play very much, and we're not going to go beyond our 6th or 7th player. So if you're the 10th man, you're never going to get in a game. And so now you've kind of checked out of practice. You're not really focused on the bench. And so if you do go in a game, it's like, oh, what? I'm going in a game? What are we doing? With our players, it was like they knew they were going in a game, and they knew that, so they knew they had to prepare and practice because they knew they were going to play, and they knew they had a chance that if they, went on a hot streak, they could probably get themselves into the starting lineup. So, so yeah, I do use it, and I would use it in the same way at the high school level if and when I coach there again.
we got a couple follow-ups to your cauldron, and then we have some
Okay.
questions. So first one is, do you weight drills in your competitive cauldron? For example, are 5-on-5 worth more than 1-on-1 drill?
I don't, just because I'm just not good with Excel. So trying to figure out how to do that, is more time than I want to spend on it. But I do kind of look at it and if somebody's, to a certain extent, I know who's winning most of the one-on-ones with my teams, and then I look at 5-on-5, kind of on a daily and a weekly basis, one, to see if I need to mix up the teams, or if, our post, especially our post point guard connection, like if the same two are playing together all the time, to make sure I'm mixing that up and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just too much Excel work for me to try to weight drills.
Now, another one is, we have built in a plus-minus system into our cauldron, in addition to just focusing on wins. For example, 2 points for a made shot or -1 for a turnover. We do this in our team sessions to identify who is consistently producing. What are your thoughts on that method?
Yeah, it makes sense. It seems like it's getting a little bit more specific, and I think the negative of that is kind of, I think the positive of the competitive cauldron is you're kind of essentially looking at, the plus minus, from basketball stats, that's basically what you're getting, right? Is a win essentially is your plus, and a loss is a minus, and so who's affecting over the course of time, who's affecting your winning the most. And I think if you start breaking it down into, normal box score stats, then it starts to, rely more on box score stats, so, the scores are going to tend to rise, and the, players who don't score, maybe the players, and so maybe you miss something. I think that's one of the things that I use the cauldron for, is to see if I'm missing something in my normal. Like, I can see the girl who scores 20 points a game on my team, and wins one-on-one almost every single time. I can see that in practice. Like, that's easy to see. But I might not notice the girl who's finishing third or fourth in the cauldron. Like, why? Like, is she there, because she's always in the right place on defense? Is she there because she's the one who talks on defense? Maybe, we had 2 years ago, I think it was the girl, I think she finished third or fourth. She was our center. She averaged like under 2 points a game for us, and she didn't even get that. She wasn't even our leading rebounder as our center. So, but she was always in the right place, and she was always talking on defense, and she was so much better than our backup center, that her team tended to win, because that was kind of the biggest mismatch, if you will, even though she didn't score. And our backup center was a better scorer. So I think if you focus too much just on the points, maybe you miss something like that. And so, because that's one of the reasons why I use the cauldron, is to see if I'm missing something. I can see, the obvious things, but I'm really using it to make sure that when I'm watching my team play, I'm not missing, less obvious things, which typically tend to be on the defensive side, rebounding, just knowing where to be, knowing, running the plays properly. If we're running a play, playing hard, getting the loose balls, those are the things that may go, overlooked, especially if you're only focusing kind of on the box score stat type stuff.